let's discuss about how to actually work with GroovyScript into your SAP Cloud integration. So I'm sure before going into this technical topic of it, first for us it's important that what exactly is the use case of why do we want to use GroovyScript. So in this particular case, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to again point you out an iflow here. Let me just put it to the full mode here. So guys, you see in an iflow there are different kind of steps. Okay. Now, most of the time, whenever we go into the monitoring tab and whenever I put my monitoring log into might be debug, info, or trace, okay, mostly a debug or a trace, it says that don't use it to the production system. And everyone asks me that, Sam, now what exactly we are going to do whenever we are in the production system in case if you want to check it out, what was the payload at a specific step. Now, guys, in case if you look at this particular iflow, so now let's say if I want to monitor it out on different places, so what I can do is I can just place a script. Okay, might be between these two steps, might be between 3 or 4, where I can capture a payload. Okay, with using a Groovy script to see might be once I execute a message, and a payload will be get attached to my monitoring part. So now how exactly to see or how exactly we are going to do in the system, that's more important thing. So let me just quickly go back into the system here. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put a script as such on a two different steps here. So this is again, I think, our normal life flow. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put my script at two places. One is before this content modifier, okay, and one might be after after this content modifier. I hope you remember that we in the content modifier 2 we have used some simple language expressions in my message body. So the payload is kind of a customized here based on our requirement. Now how to get your Groovy script again in the message transformation, we have something called script. We have a Groovy script, we have a JavaScript as such. So currently for this use case I'm just going to use a Groovy script here. I'm going to place it here. Similarly, anytime if I want to use one more time, I'm going to go here and quickly click on the Groovy script. I'm going to place it here as such. Now, guys, let's just start doing a development here. So anytime if you're for the first time at the Groovy script, every time I say if you are not aware about it, always click on this help button as such. Okay. So this helps point you to exactly to the script page. So it says very clearly SAP Cloud Integration lets you create and upload script, assemble into script collection artifacts and reuse them across different integration artifacts. So again, we do have a lot of concept of your script collection, how to work with the scripts. Okay, so now again, I think the intention is that you being self-dependent going forward after this training, so that you know how to work with script. Or now, let's say if you have any kind of a quick questions comes up, where you should be going it out. Okay, there are different places here. Okay, which just talks about creating, consuming, and there would be some kind of a sample scripts are also available as such in this part. Now here you have like a script use cases. Okay, might be read or log. So there are different kind of use cases which you can actually come here and readily pick it in. I would highly recommend you again, guys. Every time I say this, anytime if you are using a new palette option, now might be script in this particular case, look for this help button as such. Okay. Now let's say if I come here onto this particular script, I'm going to click on create. Okay. So please don't get confused with this plus and this plus. Okay. This plus is to add a next step. And now let's say if I want to add a Groovy script here, I can do that particular part. Some people ask me what is exactly SAP this is used for. So now let's in case if you have multiple Groovy script, now let's in case if you want to use it, so you can do that. You can upload from your file system. In case if you want to use from some reference resources also, you can do that particular part. So now we have the concept of a script collection also, like one single place where you'll be able to keep the scripts, and might be you can just reuse it to other places as such. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to quickly create a new script and just try to make you understand syntax line by line as such. I'm gonna quickly click on the create. Automatically a screen editor will open it out for you. Guys, again, honestly, if you ask me, SAP is always being very, very helpful, okay, where it just talks, give you some kind of a link for more use cases, okay, or some script APIs. Again, this is going to point you to that help document which we just talked about. Okay. So I'll quickly remove this particular part. Let me just try to put my script like from scratch here. Okay. Okay, just give me a second. Then let me just quickly write a script here, and then what I'm gonna do here is then we are going to go through each step, okay, and discuss about it. Okay. I can do in a multiple way the steps. Again, I think guys, one challenge with this is some people think that this control space you'll be able to see all the methods, everything. So guys, honestly, it does not work out. Okay, because there are some methods which are might be from your framework. Okay, and I think if I go onto this SP help page, I think I try to get more information. Let me just first write a syntax, and then I'll be able to explain you out what exactly I'm just trying to do here. I'm going to use something called message log factory. Okay, I've just written a small piece. I think this is one of the most common example. Okay, where we just log a payload at specific steps. Let me. I think I'm almost done here. And then what I'm going to do here is, okay, guys, perfect. I've written a very, very small piece of code here. Okay, so first of all, guys, I hope just a quick line about a Groovy. I think Groovy is your object-oriented scripting language, which is used for the Java platform, which is again, I think, easy to learn syntax. So now, guys, if I just talk about this particular use case, so let's just go line by line, try to understand what I have done into this script. So when you see this first two line, so this first line belong to the category of import. Okay, or these are like just two import statement. So the import statement refers to package and classes within a package to make them accessible within your Groovy script. And in this particular situation, the message class is residing inside your com.sap.gateway.ip core custom dev.util message. Guys, this package are part of SAP Cloud Integration Framework. Okay, and as the package name indicate, it is obvious a class provided by SAP. Now, the line number two give us access to HashMap class located in the standard java.util package. This class is used to store elements and to easily make them accessible through keys. As we don't need the hash map in our this example, we could leave this line out. However, as many methods of the message class such as get headers or get properties return maps, we have to keep this line in the code. Okay, so this is your line number two. Now let's just quickly go to line number four. So line number four defines a method that would be called by SAP Cloud Integration Framework during the runtime. So guys, this method which you see here, process data, okay, this is like the method you definitely need in your script as such. The definition of variables and method always starts with keyword def. So if you see here, if I have defined a variable or if I have defined a method here, process data, so again, I think we have used a keyword which is the def part here. So again, now here what we have done is here I have defined a return type from this method which is a message only, and again to this method I have given an input also a message, because yes, end of the day when script goes into this script, it's going to take whatever the input message, it's going to transform it, and then it's going to return the message also. Okay. Now, what else we have here? Okay, I think guys, this particular line is a very straightforward, which is your line number five. Okay, because line number five retrieves the part of a body containing the message payload from the message object and stores into the variable body as a string. Okay, so this is your line number five. Now let me just quickly go to the line number six here. Okay. So line 6 give us access to a message logger object. Okay. So again, guys, I think this is provided by the CPI environment. Okay, which is a globally accessible your factory called a message log factory, which returns a message logger object through its get message log method as such. Okay. Then what else we have here after reading the particular value in the line number six? Okay, that if with the help of this method get message log. So now in line number seven, I'm going to just check the object against the null value here. Okay, if the value is there or not. In case if value is not equals to null, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going into the next line and I'm going to use again a standard method which is given by framework, which is your add attachment as a string method. Okay, again when you go to this particular method add attachment as a string, it has three parameter. First of all, you need to define that how you want to attach this string into your monitoring or in monitoring part, whatever the text you want to give it, and then the complete body, whatever we have retrieved, and that in what particular format, which is like a text plain I have given in this particular case. Now, once you write this particular screen, now let's just try to test it out. Guys, again, there are a few things which we need to understand, and I'm sure we have a few use case plan in coming days. Okay, where I'm going to show you more on the script part, because this is for payload. Might be in case if we have to work with a structure, in case we have to work with a list, in case if we have to read any kind of header variables, or might be if we have to write some kind of a logic how to do that particular part. Now guys, one more thing here which is very important, that in this screen here you see we have this OK cancel. You will not see any kind of a debugger, or in case if you think that we'll have more fancy ID. So again, I think it's a very plain, because whenever we're talking about a cloud-based application, I think again whatever the scripting or coding is I think very leaner side compared to the on-premise part. So now what I'm going to do here is, for the timing for this first use case, I'm going to quickly click on OK, and then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do a save, and that's my first part. Now again, guys, I think this is, first of all, we will just check what was the payload at this specific step. Now let's say in case if you want to capture at might be another step, which is at this step. I'll go here, I'll come to this page. I'm going to use the same code. Okay, because end of the day I have to log my payload here only. That's it, nothing else. I'm going to quickly click on plus. I'm going to copy this and I'll say log payload after content modifier CM2 here, as simple as that. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm again going to quickly click on OK. I'm going to do a save of my integration flow as such. Once I do the save part, I'm going to do the deploy here. And now once I have done deployment part, now I can just, now you know that I'll go here in the global properties of this integration flow and I'll just quickly click on the deployment status. So this is deploying it out. By the time what I need to do is I just need to send a request to this endpoint. I'm just going to quickly open my SOAP UI tool so I can actually send a request to this integration flow and test it out. It's a bit slow, but that's okay. So I'll just take any asynchronous call as such here. Let me just take this one. So again, I think this is the same endpoint for dropping the message. I think what we were discussed last time. Let's just wait for it to get it deployed. So I think this is deployed. Let me just do one thing. Might be I'll just quick to the navigate to the manage integration content here. Now what I'm gonna do here is I quickly go to the monitoring of that particular message as such. Okay. Now let me just try to do one more thing here. Let me just go to the SOAP tool. Okay, I have the SOAP tool here with me. I'm just going to drop us this message which has an order number, customer name, order amount, currency, and a text amount. So now let's say if I just drop a message onto this particular endpoint, I'm assuming that this endpoint is of the same iflow. Let me just do that particular part here. Let me just do a refresh here. So now you see the message has been processed. Now guys, you will see one more interesting thing here. Let me just do first all messages what we have triggered till this time. So before that, what we used to see is that whenever we come to this monitoring part, okay, we used to see this tab status, properties, logs, and your artifact details. Now in this particular case, what we see is that I have automatically a new tab which gets attached to it is which known as attachments. Okay, so I hope just now whenever we were writing the code, we have used in the message log dot add attachment as a string. Okay, so again, I think with that particular method, I was able to attach the payload to my message here in monitoring. Now let's say if I go to this attachment tab, now let's say if this is the production system, and if I click here on the log payload, so you will be able to see what was the payload on that specific step where I've written a script. So this is a complete payload I do see here. Now similarly, what just happens is might be I want to see what is the payload on a step number 2, which is my log payload after content modifier 2 here. So you will be able to notice that whatever we have created, I think the message we have modified with our own tag, final result is must tag, and then you have the message as such here. Okay, so you will be able to show here in this particular screen. So guys, this is one of the advantages of using a Groovy script here. Again, Groovy script can be used in so many different ways here. Okay, and we're going to look at all the scenario whichever is possible, mostly like your structure and list. So these are like very common scenario where you get the data and now you need to process that structure list. Okay, so we are going to use that part, and I promise you I'll show you a way also that how in case if you have a scenario in that particular case, if you need to debug it out or if you need to see might be error at a specific line, because if I go here into this iflow, let me just quickly go to that my script. Now let's say if I just go to my script back here, if I see here, now let's say while compiling it, or if you make any kind of mistakes, it's not going to give you any kind of error. Whenever you deploy it, might be then you will get error, or might be while executing it out. So when I say deployment error, it means that might be you have written a wrong syntax. Or now let's say if your script has some errors and might be while executing the script has it goes for a toss. Now, if you ask me, there a way? Guys, there is a way to deal with that particular part too. Let's just look at might be in the upcoming sessions, that particular thing. Now, yep, I think this is what we have on your GroovyScript bit as well.